Hey, hey, hey! How are you guys doing? Just checking in on you. See how things are going. I think we're walking down Coconut Avenue right now. We're the home of the luxury condo. This is a relatively new condo. Sarasota has had an explosion of apartment buildings just going up. You know, dozens and dozens of apartment buildings. Apparently, there is a shortage of available homes to move into, what I heard on the news the other day. And I didn't realize there was so many homeless people that couldn't afford. I mean, I don't mean like homeless people. I mean like people that have nowhere to move to. I guess that there's a lot of people moving to Florida. I don't know if it's pandemic related, but anyway. Hopefully we're 2120. What's the year? 2021? 2021 is going to be the year that we can say, screw you, COVID pandemic. This is going to be the year that we're going to write the pandemic off and say, remember 2021 when we finally took off our mask and we went out to concerts and shows and comedy stuff and like went to the grocery store and we didn't have to wear a mask anymore? That will be like a big milestone in my and a lot of people, just generations life. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you guys about a story. I think I've told a lot of stories about times that people have been assholes to me. Well, this is a story about me being an asshole to somebody else. And as the story goes, for some reason, when I play tennis, it doesn't matter if it's doubles or singles, I tend to get irritated by certain things that people do. I consider tennis to be like a gentleman's game, not like football or basketball or baseball or hockey, where it's okay to be a jerk and cheat and try to, you know, just be like purposely irritating your opponent, where like, you know, football, basketball, shit talking is encouraged. But tennis is not really that type of game, unless you're playing some kind of ghetto tennis or something. You know, it's supposed to be a friendly game. You know, it's supposed to be like a game about respect. And, you know, it just depends, I guess, where you're playing and stuff. But a lot of times, people have, I think people have been purposely trying to be an asshole, I guess. There's a cop over here. I think that's a school cop, because school's getting out over here. See that police officer over there? I'm gonna cross the street because she looks like she means business. I think there's a school right up here. I think it's getting out right now. All these cars are lined up to pick up their kids. I usually am not here at this time. Cool motorcycle. Cool helmet too. Wow, that's a cool helmet. Funny, of all the times I've been out here, I've never seen the police officer out here. That helmet, I think, had leather over it. That was pretty cool. It looked like a bomber helmet, whatever you call those airplane things. Airplane hats. A bomber hat, or a plane. Anyway, so yeah, I let people get in my nerves when I play tennis. There's like a thing I have, compulsiveness, that when people do things like purposely try to distract you, like some people will jump around and try to distract you while they're serving or something, or just shit talk, or, you know, call the balls out when they're like clearly in, you know, just, it's like tennis shit talking. It's like the mildest form of tennis. But there are people that do shit talk that I've talked to, and one of them was that guy that I almost got in a fight with. But anyway, this story is about a friend of mine who, for whatever reason, we were friends for like 15 years. And we sort of got into some match where we were, originally it was like there was a match where we were playing together, and it was a lady, and we were playing doubles, and she pissed me off, and so I kind of like held a grudge against her because I didn't think that she was like doing the best she could. I thought she was like sandbagging. That's just my take on it. So we ended up, look at this big mural. There's a big bunch of feet there. Can you see that? Look how big those feet are. Big feet, and they're attached to some Native American people. It's like it's like the full mural is over here, and then there's just legs here, just large legs with paint on them. I never really noticed that before. I noticed the other paintings, but anyway. So yeah, there was bad blood coming into this doubles match. So my ex-friend was on the other side of the net, and I was playing, it was a mixed doubles, so I had a girl, and then the other guy, you know, had a man. It's men and women, you know, mixed doubles. So if you don't play tennis, you might not know what that means. Sarasota School of Arts and Sciences is what that school is back there that's getting out right at whatever time this is, 3 something. They get out kind of late, I guess. This house says Canned Ham Vintage. I never noticed this house before. It's funny how you walk in places all the time, but you just don't take the time to notice things because either I'm running or I'm doing a video. Anyway, so I told myself I was going to try to shorten this story. So we got into playing, and I felt that my ex-friend was hitting the ball at me like right at the net on purpose. And also, when you're serving and the other people have to hit the ball to you to serve, you know, the extra balls that you already hit on their side, I felt that my ex-friend was hitting balls away from me. Like normally you're supposed to hit the ball to the person so they can get the ball, serve the next serve, you know, start the point. And I felt that on several times, so I stopped the game and I said, you know, the person that was playing with my ex-friend, let's just call her Micah for the sake of privacy. Micah and my friend John were playing us, and I was playing, I don't even know who I was playing with, but I said, John, can you tell her just to hit the balls to me? Because this is like the 3rd time that she's done this. And I was getting pissed. And usually when I get pissed, I don't, it's hard for me to like relax after that, after I already get mad. Like I usually stay mad, like John McEnroe, you know, that you can't be serious and stuff. That's kind of the way I get sometimes if I'm in a bad mood or whatever. If something's pissing me off, I can go just full John McEnroe. So toward the end of the match, or actually during the middle of the match, I was yelling something. And the people next door, the people that were playing next door to us, said, hey, you need to keep it down. And I said, fuck you. And it's hilarious that I would say that because that's not normally me. But in John McEnroe mode, if you don't know John McEnroe, he's the guy who always yells and gets pissed and yells at the umpires and cusses and throws his racket and all that stuff. You know that guy, John McEnroe, played in the 80s. Famous for having a bad temper. So, yeah, I yell "fuck you" to the people across the street, and then they didn't say, across the way, they didn't say anything. So at the end of the match, I was sort of like, we ended up winning, because I was so mad. I was just crushing every ball that came in my strike zone. I was just flat out nailing it, and I was actually trying to nail it right at my friend Micah, my ex-friend. Sorry, she was my friend, but we just weren't talking at that time. I guess something like that. So after the match, I waited, and I just thought, I'm gonna just ask her what the fuck her problem is, because it was obvious to me that she was playing mind games on the court. I was totally convinced that, boy, it stinks over here. They must be doing some sewer work. Whew. There's I think those are like water pumps that are like rerouting the sewer system. Smells like poopy. Anyway, so I get off the court and I think I said, like, what the fuck is your problem? You know, why are you doing this, and this? And the people that I said fuck you to came over, and this guy was like maybe 65, 70. He comes over and interrupts me when I'm like laying into my friend Micah. And he's like, you know, why are you yelling at her? And I'm saying, well, this is none of your business. And he like gets up on my face. He's a little bit taller than me, a little bit fatter and older. And it's not like I was scared of him, but I didn't want to really get into a fight in the middle of a tennis club, you know. It wasn't on the regular, it wasn't on the, you know, the public courts. It was on like a private thing. So I'm yelling at him and telling him to mind his own fucking business. And he gets up on my face and he's like, well, it's my partner, or it's my teammate, because we were playing like a USTA team thing. And you know, I told him to mind his own fucking business, and then he got in my face, and I told him that he should be more of an example to his team if he was the team captain or something. And I said, you know, you should be the fucking example out here. You're the fucking one starting trouble with me. You're gonna try to fight me, and then, you know, I'm all fucking just all in this guy's face. And so I realized he wasn't gonna back down, and like I said, I didn't want to have fisticuffs right in the middle of a tennis. If it was out in the parking lot, maybe it would have been, you know, I don't want to be in a fight with a 60-year-old man anyway, because I'm like 40 something. So I just realized that it's not going anywhere, and I think my conscience tapped me on the shoulder and said, hey dude, it's time to leave. I'm like, what? Because I was right in the middle of raging. So I get my my bag, throw my rackets in it, I grabbed my bag, and I just ran off the court. And I went and talked to my team coach or whatever it was, and just explained to her that we just had an argument and this was the score or whatever. And I just took off, and I was so fucking pissed. And sometimes I realize that despite of who did what, I just need to get out of there, because the best situation is if you're in a rage or you're yelling at somebody in some situation, it's just better to just get away rather than stay there and either getting in a shoving match or an argument and just keep arguing. You know, it's just better to just, you know, remove yourself from the situation. And so the sort of epilogue to the story is that I ended up sending an apology to, wow, a very loud thing's going on over there. Somebody's cutting down trees. Can't hear myself think. So I wrote a long apology and emailed it about 3 years ago. So that was a couple years after that happened. So I think I was just in a really, sometimes I get really self-righteous when it comes to like arguments and stuff, and I feel that I was right, so I shouldn't have to apologize. Whoa, the guy just turned right in front of me. Don't want to be hit by a car just right now. Maybe later. ABC 7 right there. Maybe the TV station. I never worked here, but I worked for them, but it was in a different building. The old ABC 7 News building. So, after I sent the apology, we still never really talked much. And so, say about 3 weeks ago, I saw my friend Micah at the tennis courts, which was a different tennis courts from which I was having my McEnroe rage, my meltdown. And I went over and said hi because they were sitting by the benches or whatever in between points, and she asked me if I wanted to play. Micah, so I said, okay. So we got in touch, and then we ended up playing one day. So we were talking between playing and stuff, and I asked her if she forgave me for that whole incident, and she says, what incidents are you talking about? So essentially, she didn't really remember that whole thing, I guess, until I reminded her. So in her mind, she just let it go. But we really hadn't talked in about 5 years, specifically because of that. And she was asking me, we haven't really talked, and I said no. And so I told her that I sent her an email, and she goes, oh, I don't remember that. So she's a little bit older than me, so her memory, I guess, and she's been dealing with a lot of family issues with her parents and stuff like that. And so I'm not like digging on her for that, but it's just interesting that I remember like every minute detail about that tennis rage moment, and she hardly remembers any of it. So I resent her the email, and we were actually laughing about it. I was saying, you know, I was being an asshole and I did this and I thought you did that, and there was no, like, she didn't remember it, so there wasn't like, well, you did this and I did that. It was just sort of like, oh, well, it was so long ago. And she's not the kind of person, I guess, that really holds grudges like I do. Because I can be a grudge holder just depending on, if somebody apologizes to me, I will say, fair enough, you've taken accountability for what you did, and you said you're sorry, so it's forgotten. Like, it's just that simple with me. I will not hold a grudge if somebody will apologize to me. But if somebody does not apologize to me, there's a really big dog in that car. Holy shit. There's a dog on the other side of the car. Looks like it's about 10 feet tall. It's probably a wolf. It is busy out today. I don't know if it's just the day or just the time of day. A lot of cars coming. Okay, thanks. That guy yelled, turn that thing off. I usually walk around town like around noonish, so it's pretty dead. Maybe noon or 1. But I guess it's the time of day when people are getting off work and stuff. So it's just like a lot of traffic out today. Maybe I just don't notice as much. Anyway, so the moral to the story, I guess, is that despite the fact that you may have, or I may have done something, you know, I used to go to counseling, and whenever you'd tell a story and you'd say, well, despite the fact that you'd done this, and they always say, my counselor used to have group counseling for just, you know, regular life issues. It was like a life coach thing. They always want you to take accountability and say, I, despite the fact that I was an asshole and started that whole rage incident, which I think, you know, it was like more like 80-20, like I think, or maybe 80-40. 80-40, that doesn't make sense. 60-40. That's 100, right? 60 and 40 is 100. So despite that, you know, I was probably mostly responsible for that incident, I felt the other person was playing some mind games on me. But, you know, you have to let that go after a while. But anyway, she said, I accept your apology and whatever. And so that was last week, I think. Yeah, so the moral is that you can fuck up. But as long as you go back and take accountability for your fuck up or your mistake, that I think that you can pretty much, it's good for your soul, it's good for your karma, it's good for your conscience, and just your mental, is not to hold grudges or let those things go on and on and on. You know, like how you do in your family when you have when you have an argument with your family and you never forgive them. Like, I know, you know, at least everybody I know has a family member where they've had some kind of argument with, and it's usually the worst, you know, kind of thing is with family members for some reason. But, you know, I've had bouts with people that are friends and everything. It's just like, I think it's really good for your mental health is to learn how to, like, take accountability and forgive yourself for doing something bad. And I've got tons of stories, and maybe I'll try to think of some more and post some more stories of me being an asshole, because I've got about 5 that I can recall right now on the tennis court where I've yelled at people or, you know, threatened people, or I'm like Dennis the Tennis Menace. Essentially, check this out. It's a salvage place called Architectural Salvage. Half their sign's missing. Sarasota Architectural Salvage. They got all kinds of great stuff in here. I should take a look one day and do a video on all the cool stuff. They got all kinds of, like, there's a fire hydrant over there. There's several fire hydrants. What did I just say? Hydrants? It's a fire hydrant. That's a new word. That's like a Don King word. We got some fire hydrants over here, as well as some tenables and some chisairs. And all kinds of decorative stuff and iron gates. I love iron gates. See this whole classic iron gate, probably weighs 1 million pounds, and some kind of old-fashioned doors and classic. Anyway, so, and some like pieces of wood over here. Some kind of funky, like, bench pieces of cut wood. Anyway, that's gonna do it. I think you probably, hopefully, get my point about, it's like, you know, being forgiven is like forgiving yourself also. You know, you sort of have to forgive yourself and say, even though I act like a dumbass, I can still, you know, just take accountability for it and just move on and just be like, well, it happened, you know. So you know, there's many moments in my life where I've done that. So in order to keep this video as short as possible, I'm gonna say, hope you guys are doing great, sincerely. And I hope you are staying healthy. And we'll see you next time on the John Swift Stories channel. And if you have not yet subscribed to my do-it-yourself channel, please go over to John Swift DIY and subscribe and help me out over there so I can get that channel up and going and start producing videos and making some extra money and getting that all, because I've got a lot of videos that I want to put on there, but I want to get that monetized and everything. So do me a favor and help me out there, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day.